No, we haven't heard anything from anybody.
Now, what would be your message to the family of the victim? Like, if you had something to say, let's say the family was like, well, gee, I don't know about that music. What if the family came after you? What would be your message to the family?
I'm sorry that happened. That's terrible. That's horrible for the everybody involved, for the victim, for the person who did the crime, for everybody. It's just terrible happening. You know, I don't know what else we're supposed to say.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't feel responsible in any way. I feel that's a horrible thing that happened, and if the kid was wearing our shirt when he got arrested, that definitely sucks. But it sure as hell ain't got nothing to do with us. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's terrible.
Let me play the opening of last night's or the Nightline gimmick. Hold on.
February 2009. Two men calling themselves juggalos are arrested after the body of 21-year-old Michael Goucher is found in the woods, stabbed more than 20 times.
Why would you bring a knife and a cleaver to a meeting?
September 2009, and 21-year-old Tony Lacasio is left to die after being beaten with baseball bats.
And again, Spice, you can find my point is, and I'm not trying to downplay the significance of these horrible things that have happened by people that are just complete. You know, I think that's disgraceful to call them juggalos. But being as it may, they may have called themselves that. You could fragment, Marilyn Manson fans. You could fragment Dale Jr. fans.
Well, and they tried to pin stuff on Marilyn Manson. Remember years back?
Yeah,
it was the same argument.
The Columbine incident.
You could probably find rapists among the Tea Partiers.
Yeah,
any group of people.
Let's look at the Catholic priests alone with the things that they've done. I mean, come on.
Now there's empirical evidence that's different than anecdotal evidence.
Hold on, stand by.
Called himself a juggalo, but it's alleged he snitched and lost his life.
So now let me ask you a question. How many other snitches that are not juggalo spies have snitched and lost their life? So why now a guy that proclaimed to be a juggalo, why does it make it any worse? A snitch is a snitch.
Exactly. It has nothing to do with the music.
Why do you got to fragment it into being a juggalo? To me, man, this is pandering to the mainstream, and they got two guys that look different. They can fancy their story up and make look like the bad guys, because you got to have a bad guy, and you know what? ICP plays that role well. Spice, go ahead.
What an easier target. Yeah. I mean, who could be an easier target than us?
No, you guys are the Spice. Go ahead.
Well, now, Violent, let's say this guy who gets arrested, all right, for this murder, and they go, well, what caused you to do this? Let's just a total stretch here. Let's say, well, because I like ICP's music, and that message got inside my head where they say stab people, kill people, they're horrorcore rap, and he spits that out. What would you say then? Like, let's say that was the message. What would your response be to that?
Oh man, that would suck.
I think you should just say that guy's an idiot.
Oh, I don't know how I'd handle that. That's just so far from ever happening. I'd probably have to do my own research and just so I can sleep at night. I don't know. I'd blow my mind.
But Violent,
because it's so far from happening. What would you do, Bubba, if somebody from the Bubba Army said they did it? Because
I think you should say this, Violent J. I think you say
they wanted to get your attention.
I think you could say exactly. You could say, you know what? My name's Violent J. My real name is Joseph Bruce. I'm on stage as Violent J. I record records as Violent J. The people who follow me are juggalos, and I'm an entertainer, and I'm also a father and a husband. And you know what? I can sit there and show you just as many positive things that I've said on stage and to people as I have with my make-believe Violent J character of death and destruction and what have not. And for you not to be able to differentiate between the two. It's not my problem. It's the fact that you're the one that has a mental health issue, not me.
All right. Well put. That's what I'd say.
Violent J would say, you know what I'm going to say?
I'll send that to you on MP3, Violent J.
Violent J would say, you know what? I'm going to let my spokesperson, Bubba the Love Sponge, tell you what I would say, because we talked about it last night, and I just can't quite BS like he can.
Hey, I was curious. Martin Bashir, when he interviewed Michael Jackson, like the look on his face when he was cruising with Michael Jackson for that time, like he was in pure shock and awe at Neverland Ranch and all the stuff Michael Jackson had going on. Now, when he was following you guys around, did he understand it at all? Was he just pretending to understand it and bury you guys?
Well, here's the cool is we videotaped that whole interview, and we felt like we're gonna post it on our website because so many people say that they felt like we got cut off and this and that. And the reason we're gonna post it on our website is because I want everybody to know the mood Martin Bashir was putting out. He was laughing. He was having a good time. He was reading our lyrics and laughing. And we said to him, "You're laughing. You get it. The very reason you're laughing is the very reason we say it, because it's funny. It's cool."
Yeah, so then in the interview,
he was getting it.
And so then in the interview, he switches it up and plays Mr. Serious.
Yeah, Mr. plays Mr.
Of course. Yeah, when the interview comes out, it's a whole other ballgame. So when we were there, I took him in the bus. I introduced him to my family. I introduced him to my 4-year-old son. Everything was all good. We were all homies. And
that's why. Hey, now, Violent J. That's why you have one of your guys, one of your boys, always roll. A couple steps back B-roll.
That's what we got. Yeah, that's exactly what we got.
Yeah, throw that B-roll.
We're going to show it for anybody that's interested because.
Well, once you get it up,
I think we did do a good job in the interview, the unedited one, and I think we held our ground pretty good. And I think when you get that, when you get that done and you get it up there, please let us know, because I'll promote the hell out of it for you so that people can see, how much of a hatchet job the mainstream media can do to you. They can. I mean, here's this guy. He's buddy with you. He's meeting your 4-year-old. He's listening to your song. He's bobbing his head. He's laughing, and then the camera comes on, or after all of it ends up on the editing floor, he looks like Mr. Joe Stray Guy, and you guys look like dicks. Right. I compare it to when I was in 3rd grade, I had a teacher lie on me. I had a teacher say that I said something I didn't say, something I wouldn't even say. And I was scared of that lady. I remember that to this day. I was scared of that lady because this lady's supposed to be, a teacher, a good person, but she lied on me. So that's what I compare this to, because here you have Nightline, this respectable American media show, something you're supposed to believe in when you see it. And the way they did that whole piece was exactly the way they painted it. That's how they wanted it to be.
Hey,
it didn't matter if we countered everything he thought, and his whole opinion might have even changed.
They had an
after
agenda.
the interview. They still did it the way they wanted.
They had an agenda, and regardless of what you were going to say, they were going to get their agenda out. Spice, what are you going to say?
Exactly.
Speaking of face paint, dude, I swear to God, next time you do a serious interview with any of those respected journalists or whatever, only agree to it if they'll do the interview in face paint.
Them or these?
Like if Martin Bashir was doing the interview in face paint, how great would that be?
Now, hold on. I think that the final cut that I played yesterday, which I'm going to play now for Violent J, I think that this really wraps it up quite pro ICP. Stand by.
See how it's a very fine line for some of these kids if they hear about killing someone.
I mean, it's really common sense and it's really straightforward, but it really is. It's very on point.
Or raping somebody or hurting somebody, that it's not a very big step for them to maybe think, hey, I wear the same clothes, I sing the same lyrics, maybe I'll do the same thing.
Like I was saying, there's a bad apple in every bunch, you know what I'm saying? So, if that kid's got a screw loose, you know what I'm saying, it might take something else, not us, to set him off.
But others, like Michelle Vasey, argue that...
Listen to this dumb, frumpy-ass bitch see, you can't say that, but I can. Spice, this bitch has got an agenda, and the only way she can get it out is if she says something anti-ICP.
Of course, she's a rube.
ICP,
she's a rube. Stand by.
knowing the devotion of their Juggalo fans, should take more responsibility for their violent lyrics.
If they could use what they have...
She just needs a good... A good night of manhood, Spice, is what this bitch needs.
They could change and influence so many of these young people.
They do influence so many people. They're called juggalos, and they kick ass, and most of them are pretty damn good.
And you know what? We're not here to teach nobody nothing. I'm not here to teach anybody's kids any way to live.
You're not anybody's dad.
Exactly. We're not here to spread any good morals. We're here to give you a good time at a show, or we'll let you, or one of our CDs will take you away. If you're stressing, put one of our CDs in. It'll take you away. Nobody appointed us counselors or anything like that. We're not here to teach good morals. We're here to rock your dome.
Remember that commercial, Calgon will take me away? They had the woman had a bad day and she'd get in the car.
Right.
I think he said, you guys will, ICP take me away. It's the Calgon for sickos. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Well, I remember when Charles Barkley years back did that whole ad campaign of I am not a role model. I do not want to do this. It's kind of like that's what you're saying.
Right.
You are not a role model. you don't want to be.
Let me wrap this up.
They sing about homicide and hatchets. This band of rappers want...
I mean, people have been singing about homicide and hatchet for 30 years. Give me a break.